It doesn't matter what you're building. You need to find out if it's level or where level is compared to some other aspect of the site. And there are a lot of tools that can help you with that. I mean, tools that range from levels that a carpenter uses to check a door jamb, to transits and builder's levels, and lasers that can be used to set the grade on foundations or check drainage, all kinds of applications for expensive machines for leveling. But sometimes you don't have an expensive machine. Sometimes you just have to get close. And so today I want to talk for just a couple minutes about the lowly line level, which is perhaps the least expensive way, when coupled with some mason's line, to find out if things are even close to being level. So what I want to do is talk to you about when you should use it, when you should absolutely not even consider using it, and a few tips so that if you do decide to use one of these things, you've got at least a fighting chance of getting a decent understanding of what level's going to be. So what I've got here is about a 40-foot span of braided mason's line with a $4.95 Johnson line level hanging right in the middle. The right in the middle is important because lines sag. And if you put a line level in the middle, it's going to sag some more. And you want this to be at the low point of your string so you have at least some idea that however accurate or inaccurate this thing is, it's at least telling you what the string itself is trying to tell it. So let me just throw this down. I've got a TopCon laser, and I spent, pretty good care setting these two nails. I mean, they are probably within 1/8 of an inch of being actually level. I mean, a builder's level, an optical builder's level would get them precisely level, but we're only using this to test the line level anyway. So let's just assume that the ends of this string are in fact level, okay? Item 1. So here's what we had to do to get this thing to read as nicely as it's reading. So the first thing I did, after making sure that I knew where the middle of the span was clip it on, and by the way, here's how that works. They clip on from two different sides of the long axis, okay? I think it's probably an effort to make sure it doesn't just fly off the first time the string gets hit. You put it on there, and then you put a little weight on it, and you run it back and forth and kind of wear it in, right? Because after all, it is plastic, and this is nylon, and you want to, try to get some sort of a happy medium on where it's actually coming to rest. And, maybe flip it a few times. And if you flip it enough times, it's going to tell you what you want it to say. But don't be deceived by that, because we're just trying to establish whether or not something that really is a piece of junk can actually do some work. And it turns out that it can. So once you've established the midpoint and you've clicked it onto the line, you run it back and forth a little bit to get rid of any burrs. And that's probably about as much as you're going to be able to do to sort of trust it, right? And so you try to let everything come to rest. And then you stand back and roll the dice, and okay, have a look at that. Now that's not perfect. You see there's a little more distance on my left-hand side, which indicates that according to this, it is telling me that that end needs to go down or that end needs to come up. So I'm going to go down there and push down on that while Brady is watching this, and he's going to tell me when this bubble says that the line is level, even though you and I know that the line is level right now. We'll just see how far out of tolerance this line level actually is. Right there? 5/8 of an inch.
So let me just say right up front that I was more than a little shocked to find out that this thing was accurate to within 5/8 in 40 feet. Because 5/8 in 40 feet is 0.013%. It translates to 1/8 of an inch in 8 feet, a 1/16 of an inch in 4 feet, and man, that's pretty darn good. I also think that it's pretty unlikely that I'll get a reading that accurate the first time I put this up every time. And when you're building things, you need the right reading first time every time. So let's just not discount the fact that this may have been something of a lightning strike, but still, it was an encouraging lightning strike. Because it's easy enough to get off more than that just by not paying attention with an instrument and somebody helping you.
Don't make the mistake of thinking you can use it to set up the foundation on your house. But you might be able to set it up to establish the drainage on a French drain, that runs across the back of your property. Don't make the mistake of thinking that you can use it to set level on the edge of a nice big deck. you know, that overlooks a lake, you know. No, no, no. But you might be able to use it to establish the footing drain or find the low point in a crawl space or something like that. Certainly for building a fence. So just keep in mind that these things are not a replacement for a laser or a builder's level or a transit or even a 4-foot level. But sometimes it's all you've got, and sometimes it's all you need. So you've heard me say before that when you're buying a tool, always buy the best tool you can possibly afford, and the same is true with line levels, right? But in this case, they're so cheap, I mean, just get the best one on the shelf and do yourself a favor, maybe get 2. You can always put them side by side and take the average of what you're looking at, because, you know, we've already established that it's not going to be perfect. But we've also established that it's probably going to be good enough. Thanks for watching Essential Craftsman. Keep up the good work.